Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you have had the most fantastic holiday season. I am filming this during the holidays because I learnt my lesson last year. I end up getting myself into such a muddle and I want to use my gifts that I received and they end up dotted all around the house. I've already started using some of them, so I realized I needed to sit down and film this imminently, and I've got to be honest, I missed you guys so much. It's ridiculous. I feel like I often talk, oh, I need to switch off. No, I don't. I miss you guys when I switch off, and that is a fact. Also, I feel like I should acknowledge the elephant in the room here. Obviously, I know I mentioned before Christmas that my main present, so the way that Ali and I do things is we often have a main present and then we get each other lots of little things. And the main present is usually quite bougie. And I chose to donate my main Christmas present, so the main bulk of money of my Christmas present, to the Katie Piper Foundation. I went to their Christmas Carol concert during Vlogmas, and I was so incredibly inspired that I just turned to Ali and I said, I know what I want for Christmas. I just want to give that money to those incredibly inspiring people and just help to make a difference in whatever way I can. So that's what I did. Mr. Millen Gordon had bought me a few little bits and pieces, so I thought I would share those with you. They're still the most incredible gifts, and honestly, I couldn't want for more. Then I'm sharing what my best friend got me, what my family members got me, etc., etc. So hopefully it'll still be a little bit interesting, but it might be a little bit different from last year because I'm not holding up an Hermes bag or a Chanel bag or something like that. And genuinely, I think that's just because I think it's really obvious that my attitudes towards things have changed. And I didn't want to be thinking to myself, like, I need to buy a bag so that I can show it in my videos, or I need something big to make this video interesting. I think that my sort of attitudes to what I buy nowadays is different. And I did get my wish granted at Hermes in October. And so rather than me thinking, oh gosh, do I need this? Should I get this? It went to a better cause. So I also want to acknowledge that I know how much you guys love these videos, because these are like, we hit the ground running when it comes to the new year. But let's not ignore the fact that this is also a really difficult time for some people. And I know that there's a lot of pressure around Christmas, and it can be difficult when you see somebody else sharing all of the things that they received. And I want you always to know that I just share these videos for the people that are interested in them. And if you haven't had the Christmas that you hoped for, I want you to know that I was thinking of all of you throughout my Christmas period. Please know that what somebody else has, and I know that most of you already know this, and I know that most of you don't need me to say this, but please know that what somebody else has, what somebody else receives, whether that's 1,500 Hermes bags or whether that is an orange, it is never a reflection of you. It should never highlight within you something that you feel you lack. And I think that we're all in a really good space now where if something is making us feel a certain type of way, honestly, go outside, reconnect with nature, and just enjoy all of the stuff that actually matters. I think that that's something we can all kind of align on there. I never like to make these things too wordy. However, wordy is my middle name. I'm an author now, don't you know? I thought we could just get into it. So I'll start off with the gifts that Ali got me and show you, because honestly, I think some of these are so good and I'm itching to get using some of them. So this is two presents in one, because one of these presents is already sat downstairs in the bar. When I opened these, I was like, what are they? What are they for? Have you got me something for the chickens? I don't know. No, Mr. Millen Gordon bought me an ice maker. It is set up in the bar because we are currently churning out lots and lots of ice for our New Year's Eve party. I was like, huh? He's like, I can't believe you didn't get that. You literally asked for it. I was like, oh yeah. So these scoops are to help me with decanting my ice. If you don't know, I am obsessed with cold water. Like I can't drink water unless it is ice cold. I can't drink it without ice. And it just makes me feel like I'm drinking bath water if I don't. So I've always wanted one of those fridges that you could have like the ice dispenser. My grandma had one when I was living with her, and we don't have the space or the ability to have that in our kitchen. So hopefully in our next house, but I'll put that on my vision board. But for now, you can actually buy standalone ice makers, and some of them aren't that expensive. So we've purchase one, and it means that basically I can like churn out all the ice that I want, fill up a whole drawer in my fridge, and I can just make sure that I've got loads of like cold water. And also that will help with what is a usual New Year's Eve resolution or New Year's resolution, to drink more water. So swings and roundabouts, it's a good one. And I've got my little scoops here to help me with getting them into my drink. This is a Soho Farmhouse dressing gown, and we actually bought, I think we must have spent a fortune on Soho Home this Christmas, because we were thinking of what to get everyone that we loved, and we wanted to get something, like I kept saying, that would really serve them throughout the year and then like remember us. I don't know why, we just something that kept on giving. I was like, babe, we literally fight over our Soho Farmhouse dressing gowns. I always steal Ali's. And so we were like, why don't we just buy everyone dressing gowns, so that throughout the colder months, it's like a hug from us to them, even when we can't be with them. And everyone thought it was a good idea. So yeah, anyway, that was what we bought for most people. But I also got my own, because I actually, my white one that I currently have is from when I went on a trip to Soho Farmhouse with Arden about 100 years ago. It was before COVID. And that was when I fell in love with Soho Farmhouse. This thing is threadbare. Like, I genuinely mean it. This is threadbare. It is brown now. It used to be white. It is not. I have worn it for so many years. I have loved it for so many years. And Ali was like, it's got to go. I'm sorry. The white one has got to go. So he's replaced it. They do the monogrammed as well. And I actually feel like the quality has improved since then as well, because that was quite a thin one. These ones now, like a hug from your husband, even when he's not there. Next up, you would have seen this on, well, if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen this. This is our very bougie toothpaste dispenser, and I didn't know what it was to begin with, but he saw this at Connolly in London. Connolly is like a British brand, really beautiful British brand, but they also have kind of like a concept store there where they have different brands within there, and I think this is where Ali saw this. It is Lorenzi Milano, and this is a serious piece of kit. It is beautifully crafted. And one of Ali's pet peeves about me is that I always leave the lid off the toothpaste. Also, Ali squeezes the toothpaste like this to get the toothpaste out, whereas I'm very much like no, you work from the bottom. So I feel like this is going to solve two problems in one, because this will mean I have to put the lid on, and it will also stop Mr. Millen-Gordon from squeezing it. And it also looks really nice as well. We have the Marvis toothpaste, and I use it with the Spotlight whitening powder, and oh my gosh, so good. But it looks lovely. Really, really lovely, beautifully crafted, and I can't wait to get using that. Next up was a little stocking filler. This is a little fountain pen, which will probably come in very, very useful, but Ali knows that I really enjoy the craft and the art of like letter writing and writing things down and all of that kind of stuff. And so when he purchased my Christmas card, he got me this. This is from the Travelers Company, and it's actually really good because it is like handbag size. So you will see in one of my other videos, my intentions video, I've got a lot of books that I take around with me, so I need smaller bits and pieces for in my bag. So yes, very, very excited to start using this. Next up, and I would probably say that if I was to say one of the things that was a main present, it would be this. But obviously I didn't do my main present, but this was so special. And I really, just love this so much, because these are a set of pearls, but these are not just any pearls. These are vintage Boodles pearls. Now, if you don't know, I'm a really big fan of Boodles. I worked with them, when was it? A couple of years ago, before COVID. Was it before COVID? Or was it during COVID? It may have been during COVID. No, it was before. And it wasn't a brand I knew much about, and I got to know the brand. It's a family-owned brand, and you still end up working directly with many members of the family. And I've gone on to purchase items from that brand, and these were a set of vintage pearls with an 18-karat gold clasp. Very, very simple, very, very elegant, and a bigger pearl than my other pearls, so a little bit more statement. These are obviously vintage. I thought these were very, very lovely. Kind of lovely for just with like cashmere jumpers and bits and pieces like that. Ali actually, which is like two of the gifts kind of crossing over into one, Ali watched a video on the Katie Piper Foundation, which was something I totally didn't know, that basically your hot water bottles have a lifespan, and if they split, obviously you can end up getting burnt. which was such a shock because most of the girls in the office use hot water bottles, and Ali went and inspected Carrie's water bottle and threw it straight in the bin. He threw mine in the bin, and he's actually replaced all of them, which I think is so sweet. Like, oh, honestly, sometimes I'm like, he is just such a good egg. So this was him replacing my hot water bottle in a very evergreen inspired cover. But I'll link the Katie Piper video down below as well, just so you can check if you like hot water bottles, whether yours is in date. It basically has like a little bit of a flower on the front, and you are able to tell how long you've had it, and if not, it needs to go straight in the bin. You can keep the covers and things like that, but Ali chose to get me a new one because I struggle a lot with like my time of the month and bits and pieces like that. So I always need a little hot water bottle to keep me company, and it's got beautiful little foliage on the bottom, and it's super soft. It's like a wool one, and it's lovely because I can just leave it in my living room and it goes with everything in the living room, so I don't have to go searching for it. That is always a bit of a hack to make it look like the pillows is good. So if it goes with the pillows, you just leave it on the side and it's perfect. Next up is kind of a funny one, but also one that I've actually been itching to get out of the box and use, so this video is serving me so well right now. This is from Paul Brungard, and this says, "For the love of shoes." And if you haven't been paying attention in my Vlogmas videos or in any of my videos recently, I've kind of jumped onto the bandwagon that Ali is on at the moment, although I feel like this is just one of those things that sticks. Like once you start taking pride in your belongings in that way, I feel like it's a bit of an obsession, and I felt like this has trickled into other areas, which I've probably already shared with you. Him taking care of his boots, making sure that they are beautifully shined, the leather's hydrated, polished, looked after. Now that I have such wonderful boots, like my Fairfax and Favour boots, my Louboutin boots, or I feel like I haven't looked after those enough and they aren't looking too sweet. But long story short, this brush is basically so that in between polishing, I am able to care for my boots and take care of them. So when I get home, instead of just taking them off, I'll give them a wipe down with a baby wipe. I tend to use water wipes just to get all of the mud and get the day off basically. And then once they are dry, I take this beautiful brush. I can just leave it on my dressing table. I kind of hold it like this, and I just give them a good polish up so that they're ready for when I next come to wear them. And I think that that is one of the hacks that I am really like, I'm just hook, line and sinker on, so that your shoes always look their best. Obviously it's not just for boots, it's for any kind of leather shoes. So I really was excited to receive that particular piece. I think that is everything from Ali at the moment that is here. I've shown you all of those bits and pieces. So next up is a gift to myself. I gifted myself my usual diary. This is the Smytheson 2024 diary. This is, I can't remember what colour this is. I put my initials on the front, and I really should start doing the date, like the year, so that I can just file it away. I've only just realised that I keep putting my initials, and I should just put the date. This is just a diary that I buy every year. It's super useful, very lovely to put in your bag. I feel like it does everything that I need. I love that it's got the 2 ribbons, and I love the clasp because it always keeps it closed. It means it doesn't get ruined when you put it in your bag because it keeps all the pages together, which I find very useful. It has a year's view, it has a week's view, and then it's got a notes page. So it's really great. I use it more for like content planning and things like that. But it's super useful for me. Next up is mine and Ali's gift from Carrie and her partner. And they are taking us for a wonderful experience, this is 2 tickets to see the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra presents the Film Music Gala at the Royal Albert Hall, and she's actually treated us to a box, which is very exciting. I have never been in a box. This is something that I want to do a lot more of in 2024. I want to go to the ballet. I want to go to the opera. I want to go and see shows just like this. So to be doing so with our best couple friends is the absolute best. So was very excited to receive those. Next up was from one of the girls that works with me. So the basket is part of the gift because I am obsessed with baskets, and she found me. She's one of those people that finds really good gifts, and it's kind of like everything that I love. I love old books, I love antiques, I love anything secondhand, and she's really good at like she goes to lots of like car boot sales and things like that. And I think when most people wouldn't want to trudge through that, she's so good at finding the good stuff. So I have no doubt that this is a secondhand basket, which is going to be really useful. I never have enough baskets in the summertime. and going down to the hens and giving them what they need. I just think this is so lovely. So I love the basket. I also loved the book that she got me. This is the Reader's Digest Encyclopedia of Garden Plants and Flowers. And I mean, look at the front. Look at the spine. This is one of those books that is as beautiful on the outside as it is on the inside, because it is full of all of the plants that you could ever want to know about, and super useful for me in identifying things and also just finding flowers that I like. I love books like this that have pictures as well, so it's easier to identify. Loved it. Then she also got me a wonderful tea towel. This is kind of like a sort of linen tea towel, which I love. Some people don't like them. I love them. They give that sort of Provençal farmhouse kitchen vibe to your home, and I just have a weird thing about tea towels, which she clearly knows. And then she got me a lemon squeezer that looks like a lemon squeezer, and I thought that was really, really adorable and just useful and pretty, so that you can leave it out on your side as well. So very, very lovely gifts there. Very, very thoughtful. Then for the other girl that works with me, she got me loads. Like, I actually couldn't believe this. So very much, we worked very closely on bringing Evergreen to life, and I feel like this is a bit of a vase in homage to Evergreen, because she's leaving us. And so I can pop seasonal flowers in here and leave this on the side. It'll look lovely in my office, those kinds of things. It's got like ferns and hellebores and things like that, and I just thought this was a really lovely bud vase that can make a bit of impact as well. So very beautiful. Then, of course, a Saint Ival, I think that's how you say it, Saint Ival moss candle. This is one of my favourite candles of theirs. I don't think they do their pot candles anymore. I really wish they did. I love this. This fragrance is just midwinter in a nutshell. Like, this is woodland, this is bare trees, but still that freshness in the morning. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This is like an early morning walk in the British countryside, in my opinion. Also, she knows how much I love Earl Grey tea, and I like bougie Earl Grey tea. But I like bougie Earl Grey tea, but I don't like loose leaf unless I'm actually having afternoon tea. So she got me the Waddesdon Rothschild collection Earl Grey in a pot, well, in a little tin, and they are in silk tea bags. So she just double whammy on all accounts. And it means that I'm stocked up with Earl Grey, but also I like it in silk tea bags because it just makes the whole process easier, doesn't it? Like, I mean, as much as I wish that I could be bothered to do loose leaf tea all the time and be that fancy, I'm not. And I need to just bung a tea bag in sometimes. So all the time. It's only when I'm having afternoon tea. And this just makes the process of having the tea that you love and the tea that you use the most in a very easy way, because it's a bit of faff, isn't it? So thank you for that one. And then she also stumbled across some very, very beautiful antique books, which I love. If you don't know, I treat books like art. There are books everywhere in my home. I think they are as beautiful to look at as they are to read, to listen to, whatever it is you want to do with them. I don't care. They are wonderful. And old books, new books, battered books, I don't mind. And these two are in a very lovely shade of burgundy, which I think makes a good accent in a home, because obviously there's a lot of green in my home. Okay, I love green, and sometimes you need to break it up with something a little bit richer, a bit more of like an anchor color, and so adding these always looks really lovely. So I love them. This is the Shakespeare, the complete works, which I love, and also Adrift in the Pacific, which sounds actually quite like a good read. I also love that it was printed in Watford, which is obviously where I'm from, which I think is quite funny. Very, very lovely little bits and pieces from the girls. Then from my brother-in-law, I received, oh, can I get this up? Goodness me, another book. This one is a new book. This is from House and Garden magazine, which is a magazine that I absolutely love, like genuinely one of the most beautiful magazines, and also one of the most well done magazines in terms of how they've sort of transitioned online as well. I think their Instagram is exceptional, and to have these books I just think is fantastic. So this was from my brother-in-law and his wife, his new wife. This is A Year in the Kitchen, Seasonal Recipes for Everyday Pleasure by Blanche Vaughan. And this is a beautiful, beautiful cookbook, like genuinely so beautiful. And recipes for rhubarb, there's recipes for leftovers. Oh, I'm having bubble and squeak today. I forgot about that. That's what we're having for dinner. So happy. I just saw eggs in there as well, so I can't wait to flick through that. Then from my father and mother-in-law, if you don't know as well, like my family's not really big on Christmas. I don't know, it's a weird thing. Like it was why when I joined Ali's family, I got very excited because I felt like my Christmas wish was coming true. But generally we spend a lot of the Christmas holidays with Ali's family, so I tend to see them. I still haven't seen a lot of my family, so bear with me on this because it does look like my entire family has forgotten me, but I just actually haven't seen them, which is, I feel really bad. Although I did see my grandma. From Ali's stepmom and dad. Now this is actually the small version that I already had. This is from a company called Pot. My father-in-law and his partner actually got me the big version of this. Now Pot, from what I understand, is a subscription service. So the pot is refillable. So my pot downstairs, like I said, bigger than this one. This is the small one. And you just refill the candle pot like so. So here we have the size that I have downstairs, and this is the orangery candle, and I actually haven't smelt this, but I imagine that this is another one. Oh, that is perfect for sort of spring, to get that real sort of spring in the greenhouse feel in your home. Oh, stunning. I've got the spiced Noel one in it downstairs because I can't not bloomin' burn these things. And then you also get, which I think is very adorable, this is their little mini matches pot as well, also in the sage green. So I'll link that down below because I've seen a lot of people talking about this, and I do have this one in my dressing room anyway, but to receive one was very, very lovely as well. And I love candles. I really, really do. So that was from them. Speaking of more candles, one of the guys on Ali's team, who is just such a diamond, knows I love Penhaligon's, knows I love Highgrove Bouquet, and probably knows that I didn't know that Highgrove Bouquet came in a candle. So he got me the Penhaligon's Highgrove Bouquet candle, as well as some very big and wonderful Penhaligon's candle matches. So I've got a lot of matches this year, but they're all in here. They are that big as well. The matches are that long. So very good for lighting all my candles around my home. And then what we did, so basically we had Christmas Eve with Ali's dad and stepmom, and then we had Christmas Day, just us as a family, and then we had Boxing Day with Ali's mum and her partner. And then on Boxing Day evening, our friends from Monaco came over and spent the evening, well, spent actually 48 hours, no, 2 nights with us, and we just kind of like chilled. The weather was awful, there was like a storm, and we just kind of hunkered down, drank loads of champagne and just enjoyed ourselves. So it was really lovely. And they also got us gifts. We did our own little sort of like friendmas gift giving, and in all honesty, they gave me this bag and I was like, is the gift the packaging? Because the packaging is so beautiful. I actually couldn't believe it, but it wasn't. There's more stuff in here. And then I was like, is the gift the box? Because the box is so blooming beautiful, but this is from a bookshop in London called Hatchard's, and I have never heard of it. I was completely enlightened to this by our friends, and it's apparently a beautiful bookshop. They go there every year to choose books. Around this time, it's sort of like a bit of a tradition, and I said to them, I need to go there because it looks right up my street. So in here, first of all, she got me a book, which is Draw of the Wild by Ollie Williams. And this is actually a signed by the author copy as well. She was like, it's almost as if this was like you that wrote this, Lydia, because this is all about nature, like little poems about nature. So it's one of those things that I think that like sounds weird, but I love to like scatter around the home so that when people are there and they're just sort of sat there, they can just flick through. One of the ones that I Like there's just lovely little things in here. Farewell. Home knows not when we bid farewell, nor destination neither. The rocks don't care, the sand and sea, but trees know, animals, family, when we return. Just lovely little bits and pieces in there. And obviously it's a green book with gold foiling. I have a penchant for those. This I thought was actually genius because I genuinely have been thinking about buying this for our house. Like not this particular one, but just having one. Don't know if you remember, but I went to Narford Hall with the owner of Fairfax and Favour and signed the guest book. You wouldn't have seen that, but I did sign the guest book there. And I signed the guest book that King Charles has signed, and very many other notable figures have signed over the years, and many years. So it was an honour, but also I was like, that's quite a lovely thing to have in your home and to look back on and just file away and then rediscover and what have you. And so they bought us one of the Hatchard's guest books. I hope to one day have a big hall table, but we do have a hall table now, and this will just sit perfectly on our wooden table. And starting off with New Year's, we can start getting our guests to sign this, which I think is going to be a really lovely log and just a lovely little thing to look back on. I'm all about the mems, you know it. I'm so sentimental with things like this. So yes, that was a lovely gift from them. And then this one actually coincided really well with changes that we've made in our life. I no longer have my phone by the bed anymore because I realized it was just eating up loads of my time, and I talk about this in my intentions video. This is Letters of Note, Correspondence Deserving of a Wider Audience, compiled by Sean Usher. This book basically is a compilation of famous people that have sent letters, and they're quite interesting letters. So the people that are in here are Maya Angelou, James Baldwin, Leonardo da Vinci, Patrick Lee Fermer, Tom Hanks, Katharine Hepburn, Dorothy Parker, many more. And what it does, which I think is really lovely, is it shows the actual letter, but then it has printed it and typed it out so that you are able to read it. It's based on a website, I believe it says. And I just thought this was a very interesting thing to read, maybe a letter, 2 or 3 letters before bed, rather than scrolling on your phone. So hopefully this can be something, although inside of my bed at the moment it's starting to look like a blooming library in itself because there's so many books there. But I want to find more ways to learn and hear about things. I feel like I wasted a lot of my life not learning other things that maybe I'm not necessarily directly interested in. And so this is a really lovely book for the both of us that we can read to each other at night and not scroll on our bloomin' phones. And then the final thing that I got from our friends was this was the Royal Extract Dusting Powder. Royal Extract embodies a note melody of creamy milk, sweet golden honey, apple blossom, and orange extracts resting on a bed of precious woods. I mean, if ever I could create a fragrance, that is what I would want it to be. This is basically a dusting powder, but you can put it on top of your body moisturizer to help lock it in and also give it another element of fragrance. You can dust it on your bed sheets. You can kind of dust it on your life, and it's got a little iridescence to it that just makes it really beautiful. So it was very lovely, and I was not expecting so many wonderful things from so many wonderful people. So it is a joy to be able to share this with you. I hope you've enjoyed it. I bloomin' love watching these videos myself. I love seeing people showing their appreciation. I do have to say, my favourite thing that I think both Ali and I realised, and I feel like they get a bad rep, but it's cards. And I know the environmental side of things, but I can't tell you how much joy it brought me when I would be sitting on the sofa and I'd be reading my book and I'd be facing the back of the living room and I look at where we display all of our Christmas cards. I can't quite believe how many people think of us at that time of year. Obviously, they don't all give gifts, and that's really important. I think it's just to be a thought in someone's mind is such a wonderful thing. And so when you look and you think, all of those people cared enough and thought about us enough to send a card, and I think that's a really lovely thing, and maybe just a different way to look at cards. However, if you have stayed till the end of this video, I do have 3 gifts for you, I would probably say, because I think these are things that you're probably going to enjoy and also might help you just a little bit. So the first gift I listened to over the Christmas period, and I actually listened to it on Boxing Day, and it was a really, really wonderful, like, regrounding, recentering, just reminder, and it was gratitude, hope, resilience, heartbreak, everything just rolled into one podcast. And it was funny, I discovered it because the High Performance podcast listed, it did a Christmas Day episode that basically included some anecdotes from their favourite episodes. And I often think that names attract people, which it does, it attracts people to podcasts. But some of the best podcasts are in like hidden places from people that maybe you don't know. And I'll link this podcast down below, but this was the podcast from, how many times can you say podcast, Lydia? Oh my goodness. But this is the podcast from Jake Humphries. I can never remember the other gentleman's name, and that's really awful. And David Smith, he's an Olympic athlete and a Paralympic athlete. So just to give you a bit of insight into his journey, but trust me, it is just the most, oh my goodness, like I cried my eyes out listening to this podcast, but cried in the most wonderful way, which sounds weird, but I honestly think that if you are like watching this video now and you're thinking, my God, I haven't got that, and I don't have this, and I don't have that, this podcast will highlight to you just how much you already have. This is just, it's gratitude, it's everything rolled into one of the most inspiring stories I think I've ever heard, and one of the most eloquent and wonderful humans I think I've listened to in a long time, and it was just perfectly timed, beautiful and wonderful. So if you are looking for anything to listen to now to just kind of knock you back into that gratitude mindset, which sounds so airy-fairy, I know, but honestly, sometimes just listening to something that speaks to you can change how you feel in that moment. And so I hope that that's going to be a little bit of a gift to you. I know it's very difficult for me to give you proper gifts and also be fair to all of you. So I hopefully me highlighting this is a bit of a gift. The second one is obviously my book, Evergreen. This is the perfect time to start reading Evergreen. You don't have to start on the 1st of January. So if you're watching this video a little bit later, but the book starts in midwinter. I really wanted that to be the focus for the beginning of the book, because I feel like this is one of those times of year that we all struggle for the most part. I think it's a bit difficult, especially in this country. It's very grey, it's very dark. And so I wanted to highlight a lot of the things for you to look out for and take joy in. I struggle myself. This has been such a weird year for weather. And it really, like, I feel like if ever there was a time to write a book about the seasons and the beauty of it, it has been this year, because I would say that this has been the hardest year for me to be able to find the joy in seasons. So I've had to put myself to the test as well in that. And I think that if you are looking for something that's a bit softer, there's a lot of like, change your life in 30 days, do this, do that, how to be a boss bitch. Like, there's a lot of that nowadays. And I love it. It serves me well. And this is not me knocking that in any way, shape or form, because it honestly, it served me well. Even like The Sweet Spot, all of those books, I love them. This is maybe a little bit more of a gentle approach to the year. It's full of reminders and you don't have to read it all at once. It's available on Audible. It's available on Spotify. And it will in March be available in America. But if you can't wait until then, I always say this, you can get it if you buy the book through amazon.co.uk. So if you buy it through the Amazon UK website, you can still get it in America. And I have said this till I'm blue in the face, but people still message me. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm highlighting this for you, but I will link it all down below for you. I think it's a really lovely way to start the year. You can have the boss bitch stuff and the all of that kind of thing, but I think that this is a different way of doing it as well, and just as kick you up the bum, just as joyful and happy and comforting. And also just sometimes it's a bit like, you're doing great, and stop being so hard on yourself, which I feel like a lot of us are. I know I am. This is my book if you wanted to buy it. Obviously, hashtag ad, all of that stuff, because it is my book. But This is it here. I think it's as beautiful on the outside as it is on the inside. And also this is just an opportunity for me to say thank you, because I was supposed to be taking time off over Christmas. And so many of you were tagging me in the fact that you got it over Christmas, that you were starting it over Christmas. Literally floored me. I still can't get my head around it. I'm so grateful that I was like sharing all of them, and that my feed basically became a evergreen fan account for the Christmas period. And I don't care, and I'm not sorry about it, because I just, seeing it touch so many of you, hearing so many of you describe it as the best book you have ever read, fills me with so much. And I never imagined that anything like this would cause what this has caused. And it's lovely. And so I just wanted to say thank you to you. But if you haven't read it, it's linked down below as well. The other thing is I'm reading the book Tom Lake as well, which has just been a really lovely read as well. I'm about 2/3 of the way through. I'll probably finish it tonight. And I think that that's a really good book too. So if you're looking to get some books, if you're looking for some content that's just going to either give you a bit of escapism, which I think Tom Lake will, it's a sort of step into somebody else's world, a really lovely sort of story. I've not reached the end yet, so I'm still waiting to understand what's actually going on. But it is very, very interesting and so beautifully written. But if you want something that's going to kind of lift you up, but also put its arm around you, then I think that Evergreen is going to do that for you. And then if you want something that's really going to kind of snap you back into that gratitude mindset, that abundance mindset of what you already have in your life, like this stuff, I always say this is, and I have to change it because I used to say it was the sprinkles on the cupcake, but I think that I'm going to reframe that as like the petals on the lawn. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's just the bit that's lovely, but everything else is what you've already got. And I hate to be that cheesy person, but I feel like you know what you get when you come to my channel now, is that I am going to drill this into you, because I'm drilling it into myself as well. And so if you want that, it is the podcast. However, I have yabbered on for so long, and I have more to film. So I'm going to change my top and pretend like it's another day and get to filming. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in my next one. And don't get it twisted, the vlogs aren't going anywhere. I'm just really enjoying sit down videos, and I really want to give myself the opportunity to film vlogs that are a bit better for you, rather than chasing my tail on things. So hopefully just a few of these sprinkled in everywhere will give me that opportunity. So love that for me. Anyway, I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.